Howdy, 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 everybody. This episode of the Shooting Star Press podcast is brought to you by Amazon Prime Music. For a 30-day free trial, you can sign up at the link in the description below and try Amazon Prime Music. Amazon Prime has just recently launched a thing called Amazon Music, and it includes all kinds of crazy stuff. If you're a Prime member, you already have this. But if you're not a Prime member, you can sign up below for a $9.99 a month membership, and if you're a Prime member, it's $7.99 a month. And you can also get it on your Echo Dot, or Tap, any of those things, like the Alexa, those crazy things. And what it includes is you can get any song anywhere, tens of millions of songs with new releases coming out every day from their most popular artists, including Sia and Metallica and Shawn Mendes. And I'm assuming what everybody thinks I look like now. What'd you say I would look like, Ryan Cloud?
Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, Ed Sheeran. Or you can get, I just downloaded Acid Rap from Chance the Rapper on there. It's pretty cool. So you can get any song, anywhere, anytime, and you can download for offline listening, and it's ad-free with unlimited skips. And if you got the Echo, you can say, hey, Alexa, play whatever song I want you to play because I've got Amazon Prime Music. That's what's up. Check it out in the description below. Welcome, everybody, to the Shooting Star Press, your source for the latest in wrestling news. Howdy, everybody. How you doing? This is the Shooting Star Press podcast, coming to you live on videotape, celluloid tape, some kind of tape. I don't know. Here we're going to talk about some awesome, crazy, interesting news in the world of combat sports entertainment stuff. All of those words. And I'm joined with everyone's favorite Cleveland Brown impersonator, Ryan Cloud. Ryan Cloud, how you doing today?
I was doing good until you went foul on me. That's foul, man. That's foul.
And I am the Lee Kraft. That's right. The Lee Kraft. Don't call me Kevin Owens. I'm not into that. So anyway, what is going on in the world of all of this craziness we call wrestling and sports entertainment, depending on who you ask, Ryan Cloud?
Well, we normally start off with, in-ring action, maybe some ROH, maybe some Impact, probably not Impact, maybe some Raw and Smackdown, but today we are going straight to the rumor section, Lee Kraft. That's what we're doing.
I like it. So what have you been reading in those dirt sheets that have been coming out this past week?
Well, probably the biggest rumor that I have seen is this.
Kane?
Yes. Kane running for mayor in Knoxville. The big red mayor.
Yep. Moving back to Knoxville. It's going to be great.
He's going to choke slam his opposition. Nobody's going to run against him. It's just going to be crazy. It's going to be craziness. That's what it is.
And you're probably going to get an interview with your newspaper. It's going to be great.
Me, probably not, considering I'm about, an hour away from Knoxville. I guess my organization is technically like an hour and 30 minutes away from Knoxville.
But it's cool, and it's sportsy related, and it's close. You could like drive over to Knoxville and be like, just walk into your boss's office, his room. Walk into his office, slam your hands on the desk, and say, "Look here, J. Jonah Jameson. I'm Peter Parker, and I've got to get the story." And then storm out and just drive. Just go there.
Just drive.
Yeah.
And get a phone call on the way like,
what story are you talking about? I appreciate the enthusiasm you have for this, but I don't know what you're going to go do.
You were not very upfront with what you're planning to do, sir. I don't get it. I don't know what you're doing. You just came in here yelling and stuff, and it's.
And then you called me a comic book character. I don't even know what's going on. Well, are you on the Spider-Man drugs again? You've been watching them Spider-Man and Elsa movies on YouTube.
Oh my God! Okay, that did it. That did it. You don't know, with a 4-year-old, how many times I've had to sit down and watch those videos, and it's terrible. I don't even know why Spider-Man
so
is
weird.
in else. You know what? Let's just get back on track. Let's get back on track.
You know what? We done.
We're
We're
done.
leaving.
You're getting too personal again. But as I was saying before, you reminded me that Spider-Man and Elsa have a thing.
It's the best thing.
The biggest news that I have heard this week, minus the fact that Kane is running to be the big red mayor of Knoxville.
Big Med Raider.
Yes, that's what I said. Is this notion that the WWE is looking to buy out ROH. And, you know, a little bit of the details that we've heard on that is that ROH would essentially, it would be a complete buyout, a complete takeover, and ROH would essentially be a weekly show on the WWE Network. Lee Craft, tell me how you feel about this, the possibility of the WWE buying out ROH.
Well, what you just said was reported by, I think, the Wrestling Observer.
Yes.
But I think the, Wrestling Illustrated might have said that it was going to be, instead of a complete buyout, a shuttering of ROH. So, we don't really know a lot of the stuff about it. All we know is that they've been in talks with Ring of Honor since April to do something. And then in January, the talks got enhanced. So we're not sure what's happened there, but I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. We know what WWE is wanting to do, because they said this before when they were talking about buying TNA, before all this stuff happened earlier in the year, last year, because they wanted to make a repository for all of the wrestling content ever, kind of in a sense, kind of like the NFL did when they bought when the AFL and the NFL merged. They created a super league, and then they either bought out or ran the other promotions into the ground that were football, and now they've got a repository of all the stuff. So if you want to see some USA football, the Donald Trump's football program, or the XFL or any of that, you're going to see that with the NFL stuff. I mean, sure, WWE still owns a lot of that XFL stuff, but the NFL has the tape library of it as well. So if they need to run anything off of that, they can. They probably ever won't, but that's neither here nor there. But it's a good idea to have a repository like that keeps everything in one place. So if, let's say I want to see a Ric Flair match from 2002 after he had retired or something, then I could go find the one or two Ring of Honor matches he was in, or the 23 TNA matches he was in. And that's a good thing for us as a whole, but I don't know if it's a good thing for the talent, for the performers. If they have a falling out with WWE, they would either go to TNA or Ring of Honor. And a problem with that here is, if WWE buys Ring of Honor, where are they going to go? I mean, you don't want to go to TNA, or you don't want to go to Impact on Pop by Anthem, because it's just not as good a show. And you might want to go to New Japan, but this complicates that as well. The thing is, Ring of Honor is one of the biggest promotions that's not WWE in the U.S., and then followed slightly behind by Pro Wrestling Guerrilla out of California. And they've got a thing going on with New Japan. They've got a thing going on with all these other small promotions, but it could hurt talent's ability to work. I don't know if that's if that's making any sense what I'm saying, but if you see Bullet Club, a lot of the people in the Bullet Club said they never want to work for WWE. But if Ring of Honor gets bought by WWE, will Bullet Club become a property of WWE? I don't know how Bullet Club exists as an entity. So I don't know if it's owned by Ring of Honor, owned by TNA, owned by New Japan. I'm not exactly sure, but it's very interesting. But I mean, if it leads to us having like a Young Bucks and Adam Cole and Kenny Omega in WWE, then I'm all for that, because that's great. Or it could lead to some kind of weird thing like they have with Evolve, where Evolve is this weird dream match wonderland where you could have an Ethan Carter III fighting a John Cena, or fighting an AJ Styles, or fighting a Matt Jackson from the Young Bucks. And that, because Evolve is a weird playground where everybody seems to be okay with, and I don't have a problem with that. If Ring of Honor can stay being Ring of Honor just under the WWE banner, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Kind of like what they're doing with the what is that promotion? I can't think of the name of the promotion. The promotion that basically put on the UK Championship, because it was put on by two promotions that WWE just kind of threw money at, and then so if they did that like they're doing with those two UK promotions for Ring of Honor here in the US, that'd be great. But yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, my thoughts are kind of the same as yours. Whenever there's a decrease in opportunities for the wrestlers, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing. I mean, anybody that doesn't want to work with WWE, you have less options now, especially domestically, as far as a bigger independent promotion. I mean, outside of ROH, like you said, which Impact really isn't an indie promotion.
No.
But nobody really, I mean, it's kind of going downhill. If I'm a wrestler, if it's a last chance opportunity, I go to Impact. But what else is out there if ROH isn't? I mean, you have CZW, which is in its relative infancy, if I remember correctly.
It's been around for a while, but I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not really big or anything. It's not. It doesn't have like. It's got local shows, but not like local TV deals. But like, it's not going to be a nationwide thing. You've got Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, which has local shows, but they're probably the biggest, most well-known indie promotion next to Ring of Honor. But they don't have any national shows, at least as far as I'm aware. I could be lying, and if I'm lying, I'll just start putting hashtag Broken Lee Craft in my name, and then I'll get sued by TNA. But whatever.
But yeah, for the most part, outside of ROH, you have and Impact, you have multiple regional promotions, and if you're trying to make it big, then those they're good options, but they're not the best options. And then overseas, obviously, you got New Japan, and you talked a little bit about that and what culture pro wrestling.
Yeah, you got What Culture. You've got What Culture's kind of small, but you've got What Culture. You've got New Japan. You've got Noah. You've got CMLL. You've got AAA. You've got Lucha Underground, which is a U.S. promotion, but that's a little different. And you've got, I think that's like, you've got All Japan also, but I think that's pretty much your biggest small promotions. Your biggest indie promotions, well, New Japan's not indie, but your biggest promotions that aren't WWE, Impact, or Ring of Honor, basically.
Right.
And yeah, it could be good, but did you hear the other stuff that's going on? The not buyout, but New Japan. That like this, I have a feeling this could be a response to what rumors were coming out about New Japan in the past couple weeks as well.
I don't believe I've heard exactly what was going on with New Japan. Inform us. now.
Okay. So like New Japan they've got a they've got the New Japan Network that's coming out, and they're trying to expand operations to the U.S. So they'll have a U.S. promotion type thing going on as well. So they'll be basing that out of California. And the thing is, this seems like it could be a way of throwing a wrench into the works of New Japan's plans, because it seems like New Japan's been making feelers with Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, and they've already got deals with Ring of Honor. But if WWE buys out Ring of Honor, they probably won't honor any contracts that they've got going on with New Japan. So that takes New Japan's what's the word? Their reach away, because Ring of Honor is a mostly East Coast promotion. I mean, as they do run shows occasionally on the West Coast in California. I mean, Las Vegas was where the last pay-per-view was at, but it's mostly an East Coast promotion. So they're running shows on this side of the Mississippi. I mean, you're going to see a Ring of Honor show in a Knoxville, in a Nashville, and in Atlanta, in a Orlando, New York, anywhere like that. And that gives New Japan reach to the East Coast of the United States. So they have been doing, it seems like they've been doing some work with Pro Wrestling Guerrilla so they can get reach in the West Coast. But if WWE buys out Ring of Honor, that cuts off New Japan's reach into the markets that are on the East Coast of the United States. I mean, sure, the way most people that are watching New Japan are consuming that is by watching it on the internet. But if you want to see a Taito, anybody, Shinsuke before, if you want to see anybody that's involved with New Japan in a U.S. promotion, if WWE buys out Ring of Honor, you probably won't be able to see it without going all the way to the West Coast, and that kind of bugs me. That I don't like that. So like, essentially, if they were going to do this, I would prefer if it was just, here's some money, we'll take your tape library, we'll put it on our servers and all this, and then we'll show the show weekly. I'm sure the quality of the show, I don't mean writing wise or anything, but I mean like the way it's shot would improve, because if you're watching it on their website, even the quality of the camera work is just not as good. I mean, not camera work per se, but the quality of just the product itself, the way it looks. It looks kind of washed out, kind of grainy every time you watch it. And I've been watching it on 1080 on my computer because I don't have a 4K feed yet. So I mean, that I could see there's some good things to it, but it will probably hurt people like a Colt Cabana or a CM Punk or basically to Cody Rhodes. Anybody that is on Ring of Honor that is not part of the WWE doesn't play well with WWE. Any of those guys. And I mean, that they went to Ring of Honor because it has a different type of wrestling. It's more violent. It's more they do all kinds of stuff that's banned in Ring of or in WWE. So they'll be doing drivers like what was a couple weeks ago I said that we saw a Michinoku driver in WWE, and it's so rare to see a driver, but in Ring of Honor you see drivers all the time because it's something that's really cool to see. It's just dangerous. So I mean, I don't know. It might water down the product a lot. But yeah, I mean, I know you haven't watched much Ring of Honor, but who do you think on Ring of Honor would survive if they were bought out by WWE? And I don't mean like working in the WWE system. I mean in Ring of Honor's, in WWE's version of Ring of Honor. Like who would survive in that? I don't even know.
If I had to pick, some wrestlers that would probably survive this buyout, I would have to say one that's on the top of my list would probably be Adam Cole. I just think that he has that style of wrestling, and he's just got that kind of charisma that would successfully transition to the WWE. I mean, you got your. I don't think that your Christopher Daniels of the worlds are gonna make the cut, mainly just because of their age and just I don't know. I don't think they would, like, that style of wrestler would make it. The Young Bucks is another one that would cross over well. I mean, yeah, sitting here thinking, it's kind of hard to really think of many that I would consider would survive the cut. What do you think?
I mean, right now in the past couple years, their top guys have been like Ring of Honor guys. I mean, Tyler Black, who is Seth Rollins. You had Bryan Danielson, who is Daniel Bryan. You had Jon Moxley, who is Dean Ambrose. I mean, you've had several big names that were Ring of Honor big names come over, and before people yell at me, Jon Moxley, Dean Ambrose, I know he was a CZW for a long time, and Insane Clown Posse Wrestling or whatever their promotion is called. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but he did do a few shows in Ring of Honor. But it's that whole big indie scene. It's these guys that were in the indie scene, and then they went to NXT, and then they became big in WWE. I mean, you've got Cassius Ohno, who was Chris Hero. You've got there's another dude that's named Tyler something on NXT right now, or is going to be called Tyler something on NXT, and I can't think what his name is. But yeah, I mean, the style that they run at NXT, or the style they run at Ring of Honor is really different from the style that they run it at WWE. And when you look at somebody like a Dean Ambrose, you can see how it winds up getting watered down. What he does seems like a watered down version of Ring of Honor. And then the other guys are just all hurt because that's how Ring of Honor works. And they still run a similar style that they did. It just seems like it's a kind of a watered down version. And I have a feeling we're going to wind up with something like that. So, I mean, people that are pretty flexible, I could see like a Dalton Castle. The problem with the people that you said, like Adam Cole or the Young Bucks, is they both said they were never going to go to a WWE. Right. But, I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, if they run it as a separate thing that just happens to be on the network, I would not have a problem with that at all, because it would still have its same feel. I don't want their wellness policy on Ring of Honor, because Ring of Honor's wellness policy and their health stuff seems more paramount than WWE's. But yeah, back to the question. I mean, a Dalton Castle, the Briscoes, I could see doing really well on WWE. I want to say Bobby Fish, but like he's kind of a charisma vacuum, so probably not Bobby Fish, but Jay Lethal. Now he would do awesome on WWE. But yeah, I mean, a handful of their older guys would do very well on WWE's programming. Only problem is, I don't know if WWE want to keep anybody that's of the age that is the Briscoes or Addiction. I mean, Frankie Kazarian would do really well, but I don't think he would do well by himself. He would have to have Christopher Daniels. But Christopher Daniels is old.
And so I mean, saw Frankie Kazarian in WWE before, and that just didn't pan out.
That's true. I mean, like, him being with Christopher Daniels, it would have to be a package deal for them. But I mean, But if it leads to the possibility of those dream matches that always keep popping up because the people that we want to see want to fight each other, but since they're in different promotions, they will not be able to. unless they go to Evolve, which, I mean, I could see it possibly happening. So, like, the New Day and the Elite section of the Bullet Club, they feud back and forth on Twitter. The Young Bucks feud with the Revival on Twitter. DIY, like, feuds with Roppongi Vice occasionally on Twitter. So, I mean, Twitter just, if we could just have, if this winds up being all these Twitter feuds coming to life, I would not have a problem with that.
Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely positives. Like you said, the main thing that would worry me is the watering down of ROH. Mm-hmm. And I don't see them letting ROH truly be a standalone show. So I guess that's kind of the angle that you were taking, like yeah.
If that's how I want it to be,
right.
But I have a feeling it's probably going to be like ECW.
ECW. That was the first thing that came to my mind was the whole ECW ordeal, and you're going to see them basically use ROH as a cast off for just kind of extra talents that don't necessarily fit on the main roster, like sending a Bo Dallas to ROH. And
you haven't heard the other rumor about Bo Dallas. We'll touch on that.
I have not. But just kind of the pieces that don't necessarily fit, they'll ship to ROH and let them mingle with whatever roster is left from that show. And that's just not something that I necessarily I don't want to see. I like the way ROH is. Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily get a chance to watch it on the regular, but when I do get to watch it, it has that different feel to it, and I mean, it's just a naturally good product, way better than Impact, and as we saw last week, sometimes better. I mean, even better than WWE. It's just a different style.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see that go away. I would prefer WWE just kind of leave ROH alone. It kind of feels like, I don't know. I can see why they would want to buy it, but you're eliminating competition, and you gotta wonder, does WWE, which with it being an indie promotion, probably not. So I don't see any kind of monopoly issues there, but I don't know.
I mean, I feel like Ring of Honor is not taking money from WWE. Ring of Honor, if anybody is watching Ring of Honor, they definitely already have the WWE Network. They're wearing a Seth Rollins shirt. They're screaming delete. They're doing all of the things. If you're watching Ring of Honor, you're watching TNA and you're watching WWE. So, like, when I went to a Ring of Honor show, there were people wearing NXT shirts. There was a little kid wearing a John Cena shirt, because that's how it works. And his dad was wearing a shirt that had, like, John Cena's face with a big X through it. So, I mean, Ring of Honor is not taking money from WWE, and WWE doesn't treat them like that. I think the main crux of it is WWE's trying to do the thing where they're going to make a big repository of everything, and that, like I said, that's not a bad thing. But if they could just license it, like, I don't know, like baseball does, with some of the stuff, like they'll license certain things for the Baseball Hall of Fame and all that stuff from the other places that happen to run it, or Nintendo does with their video game museum. Like, they've got stuff from Sony in there, they've got stuff from Microsoft in there, but it's licensed to them to show. And like, I feel like that's probably the better direction to go with it. But yeah, I think we probably beat this horse to death, though. So you want to hear about Bo Dallas?
Yeah, tell me about Bo Dallas. Let me. What's the scoop on Bo Dallas?
Well, hold on. Let me preface this. Well, the baby boy, he gonna come join the Crows, and we're gonna have some fun. It's gonna be great, because he's probably one of the best wrestlers on on the card right now. He's gonna come and join. It's gonna be great, and run. We're gonna see a Bo Wyatt.
That basically says it all, I guess.
Yeah, in an interview with Sports Illustrated, Bray Wyatt was. They asked him how he felt about his family being in the wrestling business, and he said basically that. So there's a good chance we're gonna see a Bo join Bray, possibly at WrestleMania, to help with what's going on between the Wyatt family, this whole thing. So we could see a Bo and Bray standing tall against Luke Harper and the Viper, and possibly an Eric Rowan who has been cleared. So we're not sure where that's going to go, but Bo could be seeing a return to graces with joining Bray Wyatt. He said this in an interview with Sports Illustrated, and I think it was on one of the ESPN. I think in an interview with ESPN, he also said something similar about how Bo is probably the most talented wrestler on the roster, and he's just not being utilized. And it was hurting Bray, like not hurting his career, but hurting him physically, I guess. And because they were asking him if he had a problem with his sister wrestling and with his brother wrestling, and that was kind of the answer he gave. So maybe we're gonna see Bo following the Buzzards, if you get what I'm going with.
That's interesting. Which it shouldn't be a surprise at this point when we haven't seen Bo Dallas in what feels like forever.
I mean, we saw him 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, but still,
and that's when I said he's gonna join the Wyatt family also. I wonder.
But it could be a good move for Bo to join the Wyatt family. I mean, he isn't really doing anything right now, and the fact that his brother has gotten so over with the Bray Wyatt gimmick, I mean, him just kind of latching on to the coattails, so to say, and maybe being drugged to prominence a little bit wouldn't hurt him at all. I mean, we saw it with Braun Strowman. He gained a little bit of prominence while he was in the Wyatt family.
Yeah.
So I don't think it could hurt. Like you said, or like I guess he said, Bo is really can be a really talented in-ring wrestler. I mean, he's probably one of the few people to claim the NXT championship that hasn't really done anything since then. I mean, obviously you got Seth Rollins. You see where he's at. Big E has found his place with the New Day. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. Well, Sami Zayn, he's being used better than Bo Dallas by far.
Yeah, I mean, thing about Zayn is his whole thing was he is the underdog, and it makes more sense than the way they were pushing Bo with the you've got to believe that you can do it, and it just feels like it was muddled. Versus Zayn's is constantly he is the underdog. You can only go so far with that goofy Bo Leave shtick that he had running, and it ran its course. So I mean, that's basically that.
Yeah, but yeah, Bo Dallas joining the Wyatt family, I think it's a good thing. It definitely can't hurt.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I don't know if it actually is going to wind up being them being in the Wyatt family or him being like, I'm not sure. I don't know how they're going to play it, but either way, them putting him with Bray would be nothing but a boon to his career. It would be amazing.
Yeah. All right. I guess moving on to the third thing we have here as far as rumors go. Apparently, there are reports out there. There are reports out there that this is a done deal, but the WWE has apparently offered the. You okay?
I said, don't know if it's a done deal yet, but possibly.
That the WWE has offered the Hardy Boyz a contract. How do you think this is all going to work out with, I guess, the WWE? If the WWE has offered the Hardys a contract, and then we're talking about a buyout, obviously the contract would probably happen a lot faster than the buyout. But
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, what do you think as far as it goes?
I don't know, like, if the buyout were really, really close, I don't think they would have offered them a contract.
Right.
Because I think they would have just been like, well, we're just going to buy the whole company just to get the Hardys, type of thing. It does kind of throw a wrench in the works for Hardys versus Young Bucks, which is one of the things going on right now in Ring of Honor. Because, like I said last week, they ran off with their Super Kick titles and the tag team titles. So, it could run a risk of WWE getting sued, but I think that's why this is going a little slower than it is. Nothing I've seen said that they are offering contracts to Rebby Sky or Senor Benjamin or King Maxwell, because I don't think they can offer a contract to King Maxwell.
Sad day.
Yeah, little buddy in the little Jeep. But I don't know. I have a feeling that WWE they don't want to pull the trigger just yet, but they do. Like, they are like, here is your contract. Here's what it's going to be. Fix your legal problems. Then you can sign the contract, is kind of where I see this coming. It could be that maybe WWE gets like 65% of the gimmick that they're running right now. And then TNA, Impact, or whatever you want to call it, is going to keep a portion of it. So they get a little bit of money every time the Hardys appear and run the broken gimmick. Because acquiring the Hardys and making them like a nostalgia act, which is what they've been doing with Goldberg, what they're doing with Mick Foley, what they're doing with everybody basically that is an older person, it would hurt them. But if they got to keep the broken gimmick, it would be great. So, like, maybe they could use broken Matt Hardy, but they couldn't use, I don't know, Vanguard 1, the little flying helicopter thing. They could use Brother Nero, but they couldn't use Senor Benjamin or something. But Senor Benjamin, as far as I'm aware, was not in the original anything, and that is all they just called Rebby's dad Senor Benjamin while he happened to be on set. So I don't know what is all entailed in the broken universe, but I'd like to see it transition with them, at least some portion of it transition with them. So yeah, it could be a little goofy, but at the same time, that's what this sport is a lot of goofiness around some really high level athleticism. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. It feels too early to call it, even though they've said that the contracts have already been sent. It just still feels too early to call it.
I agree. I worry that for whatever reason, if the contracts do get signed, is that the broken gimmick won't transition to the not transition to the WWE. They won't bring it over to the WWE. I fear that Vince is so hard-headed that he will just push it to the side and basically say, we don't really want it, because we know how Vince is when it comes to things that he didn't create.
Yeah, correct.
So I worry that he would just be like, you know what, drop your lawsuit against TNA. They can have that little broken gimmick, over there. You come back with us, we'll get you set up, and all this, and that would be terrible for the Hardy Boyz, in my opinion, because they've been working on this broken gimmick for what? Matt's been working on it for, has it been over a year, 2 years maybe? It feels like it's been a while.
Yeah.
I guess because it's been so successful.
I think it's about it's less than a year, Or actually, no, it's probably about a year now. I'm pretty sure. Because I think it started at the very beginning of 2016, and we're at the very beginning of 2017 still. So
okay, so yeah, I mean, Matt's been on it for a year. Jeff Hardy's been on it for some time now, and it just kind of feels, when it first came out, it kind of felt like goofy, but now it just kind of feels like that's just them. It has melded so well with the two that it's just their gimmick, and at this point, it's kind of hard to envision seeing them not as their broken characters.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it would be bad for business, so to say, if the gimmick doesn't come to the WWE. And I don't know. Hopefully Impact Wrestling and Anthem will just give up on this and move it to the side, because I could also not see Vince, sharing any profit with anybody else.
Yeah, I get that too. But hopefully we'll soon see Jeff Hardy launching himself off of like the top of the cage on top of the cage or something. I want to see him dive off the WrestleMania sign. That's how it happens. The WrestleMania is going on, and then at the very end, it's like Roman Reigns versus Undertaker, and Roman Reigns is coming out there, and he's like, I'm the big dog, blah, 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 blah. And he's got the Undertaker down, and then from the sky descends Jeff Hardy to remove Roman Reigns. I can book it. It's booked. Done.
Deal. Put it in writing. That's what's happening.
Yep. That's how it's going to work. Oh my God, it'd be amazing if that's how it happened.
I would be convinced that they listen to this show if that happens.
Yeah, they're WWE low-level WWE writer is actually one of the 16 people. They just play this. The 16 people is all of WWE's writing team, just listening to our show.
Oh,
Miss Coosie.
You okay? You good?
Yes, sir. Almost died. All right.
Oh, no.
So yeah, that's kind of that. There's not really anything else that went on. There is the stuff, what I was going to introduce the show with, but I thought Ryan Cloud would not like it. I was going to call him the black guy in the videos that recently leaked, but I don't think he would like that. But have you heard if they're going to punish Paige in any way, or Xavier Woods? I guess I can't punish Brad Maddox. He's not with the company anymore.
From what I've heard is they're not going to punish them in any way, mainly because it was something that was leaked versus them just putting it out there,
Yeah, it's like it's not like China. It's like Seth Rollins.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like either of them plan to have this done or anything. So I don't think there could be. They're not going to do it. Yeah, there's not going to be any way to punish it. You can't punish somebody for something that they didn't do. Which have you seen some of the other since then? There's been more leaks to come out.
Oh yeah, it's the Fappening 2.0, guys. Don't go looking for it. It's illegal.
Yeah, might get caught.
Yeah, whatever. They did punish somebody for something similar once, though. That was Zara Schreiber, the girl that the whole leaking thing that went on with Seth Rollins and Zara Schreiber. But hers wasn't necessarily that it was leaked. I think it was more along the lines of what was leaked. Like, I think she had like Nazi stuff that leaked. So that's a little different. Yeah. The funny thing though is I remember a few years ago people say, "Oh, Paige is racist. She's racist," and all those people who are calling Paige racist are now like, "Oh, Paige, I hear you like black guys now." So,
oh, man.
Yeah, that's been an interesting thing to see develop over the past week. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, it's a thing. Don't be putting your passwords in places that don't look too savory. That's basically all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
But you know what is very savory?
I don't know. Maybe some chocolate chip cookies or some snickerdoodle cookies or.
Well, those are sweet.
Oh.
But you know what is also sweet and savory? Kindle. Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah.
Ryan Cloud, I don't know if you have a Kindle, but I know you've been reading some stuff on your computer.
I've not been reading anything. I don't.
Ryan Cloud, quit lying. You said you was enjoying a book the other day, and I caught you. You've been enjoying books, and you always just downing books all the time. But anyway, on the Kindle, and y'all know what a Kindle is. It's one of those what old people call iPads, but it's a tablet. That it's for reading books. It's got the Paperwhite. They've got the other one, the Fire. They've got all kinds of ones. And you can get the app on your phone, tablet, PC, all this other stuff. And the app is called Kindle Unlimited, and it's $9.99 a month. And you get to enjoy the freedom to explore over 1 million titles, thousands of audiobooks, and magazines on any device for just $9.99 a month. And if you sign up at our link in the description below, you can get a 30-day free trial to check out an awesome book. Now, Ryan Cloud, what awesome book were you reading? And don't tell me you ain't reading.
Okay, you caught me. I've been reading Sounders FC, an authentic masterpiece. And basically what this book is, it goes into how the Seattle Sounders Football Club came to be one of the biggest clubs in the United States, and probably one of the most successful clubs in the United States. And the whole book kind of sounds like the start of a great joke. I mean, you have a minor league sports executive, one of the richest men in the world, and a stand-up comedian all collaborating to create this soccer team. And it's just a really good book. It's really interesting. If you're a soccer fan and you don't know much about Seattle Sounders, I would encourage you to read this book because it lays it all out, and it's really interesting.
I like it. I'll have to check that out with my Kindle Unlimited subscription. For 30 days, I get free books. It's awesome. Check it out. But anyway, after that quick diversion, what else is cool? What else have you been checking out, Ryan Cloud?
I have been checking out Raw. Is that what you're talking about? Talking about some Raw?
Yeah. If that's what you want to talk about, we'll talk about Raw.
We'll go into Raw. And
I was hoping we'd talk about Talking Smack. We'd just do a whole episode about Talking Smack. But
just all talking.
If you want to talk about Raw, that's
not
fine.
Bad, just gotta hit on a little bit of everything. I can't help it. We'll get to Talking Smack. I promise.
All right, Helen Keller. I don't even know why I called you Helen Keller. Anyway.
What? All right. Anyways.
So what happened on Raw?
So we have Seth Rollins' doctor come on Raw and basically said that he re-aggravated his knee and that he...
Told you that was going to happen?
I know, right? And that
I done had that same surgery he had. I know what happens.
And that no doctor would clear him in time for WrestleMania. So, I mean, I guess tell me how you feel about all of this, about the re-aggravation of the knee, and we also had the Triple H segment a little later in the show. Just what do you think about it?
I told you he was going to mess up his knee some more, and it was going to lead to something. And it's just weird to see unsanctioned. You can't see my fingers, but I'm doing the air quotes. It's weird to see unsanctioned matches and stuff in WWE. Ring of Honor has them a handful of times. They call them matches without honor and stuff like that. But I don't know. It just feels like if it's work, it feels like it's trying to make it seem more real than it needs to be. But if it's a shoot, I mean, there's not much you can say about that. It's just a shoot. So I don't know. It just feels like they didn't. It feels like they planned this out just slightly too far out, which is not something that normally happens with WWE. But extenuating circumstances, but it feels like they've planned it out slightly too far than they need to. Like, if they had waited one more week, instead of putting him on TV last week, putting him on TV next week. Get what I'm saying? It just feels like it's slightly too long, but only by a couple days, if you get where I'm coming with this.
I got you. Essentially, they just put him on TV too soon.
Yeah, just slightly too soon.
And as a result, we got this alleged re-aggravation of the knee.
Which, I could believe it, that it is re-aggravated, but I don't know if it'd be re-aggravated enough to keep him off of. He was only cleared for general use, so it just feels like he shouldn't have been in there anyway. But it's definitely possible that it had been re-aggravated. We can't all be like me and just take some tramadol and play intramurals football. And yeah, we can't all be like me.
Can't all be like Lee Kraft.
Yep.
Superman
Champion
over here.
Champion. Wear my MC Superman shirt. Yep. That's what I do. I do.
If that's what you do, it's what you do, man.
I'm not saying Seth Rollins is a wimp, but I'm just saying. Just saying is all.
But yeah, this whole issue with the knee, I don't know. I'm not a big fan. If it is a work, I'm not a big fan of the whole, let's make this an unsanctioned match or whatever. I'm not even necessarily sure how that affects everything. If it's still a match, outside of the fact, obviously, we're going into the match thinking, hey, Seth Rollins can't sue if he gets jacked up again.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that makes it unsanctioned. It just means it's not part of the, your unsanctioned boxing matches. It's trying to give it that kind of feel. Yeah. And those unsanctioned boxing matches is when people get freaking murdered in the ring. That's probably what this is going to be. Some kind of just like, and by murdered, I don't mean like killed, but occasionally, yes. But, that happens a lot of times with those unsanctioned things too. But it's just not, the company cannot be held accountable if you get hurt. Right. And there's nobody that's actually going to, this win, if they were counting wins and losses, unsanctioned wins don't count as anything. Right. So like, you've got those journeyman boxers who go and they take a match in a bar in Toledo next to the depot. And it's just some dude throwing a boxing match and people get destroyed. Like the former middleweight champion of the UK was put into a coma and he finally woke up a month ago. And as far as I read it, it was a unsanctioned match, but, some people have told me that that's not true, but it was a match it was a match that wasn't for anything. So, that's kind of what these unsanctioned matches are. And I don't know if I want to see it. I'd rather them keep him off TV, doing actions on TV. Keep him off of that for a little bit and then have him come back a couple weeks later. But you got to get the big pop for WrestleMania. But the thing about working legs, Chris Jericho in his podcast was talking about it a couple weeks ago, how working legs is one of the worst things, especially because it's hard to sell a leg injury and then have a comeback. And if anybody could do it, though, it'd be Seth Rollins. So that's where, if anybody can make this work, it would be Seth Rollins. It's not something that they should be trying to do in general, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Me personally, I wouldn't have had an issue with them, like you said, holding him off a few more weeks and just bringing him back right before WrestleMania. Because you're still gonna get the pop.
Yeah.
If he, it doesn't matter if he did what he did last week. It don't matter if he did it last week or if he did it a week before WrestleMania. that you're still going to get that pop. And I mean, Triple H can carry the load of the promo work and the building of the match. He can do that with ease. He can do that in his sleep.
Yeah.
And I mean, you still have that big match feel.
Well, Seth, freaking Rollins.
You still, yes, you still have that big match feel, no matter if you hold off a few weeks or not. So, and you also have you give Seth that much more time to work on his knee if that is not a work and it is a real issue. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of this whole unsanctioned match type deal, because like I said, it doesn't feel much like anything to me, except for I guess somewhere deep in the back of my mind, maybe once, probably not during the match, I'll think that Seth Rollins can't sue if he gets hurt or anything like that. It just, I don't know, it's a little bit much for me.
I feel you. I feel you so much.
While we're on this right here, real quick, what did you think about that Triple H promo? I kind of liked it, how he was like, "Hey, it's your fault, fans. It's your fault. It's your fault. You did this. It wasn't me."
It's true. It's true.
It is true. That's actually. I was sitting there listening to it, I was like, he's got a point. We did kill Mick Foley.
Yeah, I mean, Mick Foley was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna fall through the sky," and all this. Well, it didn't quite happen the way it was supposed to happen. Like, I don't know. I listened to he was on Jericho's podcast a couple months ago, and I listened to that again the other day. But yeah, like, the reason why these people do what they do is to get that pop from us, the fans. The reason why Daniel Bryan has that catastrophic brain injury, possibly, is because we cheered him on. So I mean, I guess we're the devil.
It's what it basically boiled down to me was, we love you guys. Y'all give us all kinds of money, but y'all are killing some of these people. Mick Foley walks like he's 80 years old because you wanted to cheer when he got launched off the top of a Hell in a Cell, and when he got when he got his ear.
He was drinking beer.
Yes, I probably would have been lit a little bit to get thrown off the top of a Hell in a Cell. I ain't gonna lie. His ear's all jacked up, and he's all limp, walking like a hermit, and all for what? To get fired on Raw.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he got fired. I think this is to cover up him going to. He's probably been fired. Oh, I guess that brings us into the next segment. Mick Foley got fired on Raw, guys. It was the elephant in the room we were avoiding. Thanks a lot, Ryan Cloud.
Sorry, you couldn't help it. Had to dive right into it. It's like a Band-Aid. Rip that shit off.
But I don't know what I was about to say. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. He got fired, and it's kind of I think it has to do with him having to go get hip surgery. Like, he's supposed to go get a hip replacement. He said it in some interview with somebody that he was supposed to get a hip replacement. And this could just be a work to get him off of the screen for a while, so he could actually go get his hip replacement. I doubt they're gonna fire his son Dewey. I doubt they're gonna cane Dewey either. For all you ECW fans out there, I know how much y'all want to see that, but I doubt they're gonna fire him or Foley's daughter, Noelle. I think that's her name.
Yeah.
But I doubt they're going to fire either of those. I mean, Triple H, he might have alluded to that, but anyway, I doubt that's going to happen. But I think this is all about him trying to go get his hip replacement, and they're just trying to work around it. And if that brings, I hate to see him go, but if that brings a fresh face, well, not a fresh face, we've all seen him before, and his red, white, and blue singlet. And I'm not talking about Hulk Hogan as Mr. America. You know who I'm talking about, Ryan Cloud.
Yeah, you're talking about Kurt Angle.
Yep, and you sound so sad.
Because I sound sad because I don't want to see Kurt Angle come back as a GM.
Well, there was something that came out earlier this week saying that Hunter would not be disappointed if Kurt Angle came back and was also an in-ring person. I mean, since Hunter's the COO, the chief of operations, I think he would be the person that's over a lot of the talent, to an extent. So him saying that probably means like he's gonna be you got a fighting champion, he's gonna be a fighting GM.
Maybe if that's the case, I'm okay with it because Kurt, we've talked about this before. Kurt Angle is way too talented to just be held into a GM role. I mean, the reason why nobody necessarily is upset with the fact that Daniel Bryan's a GM and not competing is because he can't.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got brain issues or whatnot because of multiple concussions. He just can't wrestle.
But in 180 days...
in 180 days, he might be able to. We'll see.
If Ring of Honor isn't bought by then.
Yeah, if Ring of Honor isn't bought. But Kurt Angle's completely different. He can wrestle. He is, I'm sure, cleared to wrestle, and it'll feel kind of... It'll make me feel cheated if he just comes back as a GM and doesn't actually wrestle anymore. But yeah, I mean, if he comes in and he's a GM and he's, a fighting GM, you didn't see me do air quotes, but I did. Then I'll be okay with that, and I won't have any issues. It'll be nice to see Kurt Angle back on a WWE TV screen, so I'm okay with that. Just don't restrict the man to just doing GM work. That would make me sad.
Oh, yeah. It's I hope they don't have him just being a GM. In fact, I want him to come in and be like, "Yeah, I'm the GM, yeah," and then he sees American Alpha, picks up American Alpha, and I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, this is stupid now," and he goes out and joins. He quits. Has this big thing, throws Stephanie through a window because I'm sure she enjoys going through windows just as much as Shane does. And then storms out, and then she's got to rehire Mick Foley after he's had his hip replacement. And that gets us both. It gets them both on TV, and it'd be great. And everybody would cheer when Stephanie goes through a window.
Yeah, that would definitely be a positive. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna hate on it.
Like when Roman Reigns accidentally speared Stephanie because dude stepped out of the way.
Not today, that guy said. Not today.
And then the crowd popped like crazy. Oh well. Yeah. Mick Foley leaving the picture. Then Stephanie started undoing everything that Mick Foley's ever done as the GM. So she threw Zayn under the bus. She threw Bailey under the bus. I told you they were going to get to this fatal 4-way. That's how we did it. Yep, that's how they did it. And then she threw Antonio Cesaro and Sheamus O'Shaughnessy. I just like saying both their names. It's great because they don't say their whole names anymore. Threw them under the bus. So I mean, it's a thing. It's a thing that's not very good, but it's not very bad either. It's neutral at the moment.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't feel good, doesn't feel bad. It's just like you said, a thing. And I mean the whole Mick Foley being fired thing basically set up the rest of Raw. I mean, you see, like you said, Stephanie's going through and she's basically punishing anybody that had,
that said bye.
Yeah, that said bye. I mean, you're not allowed to say bye to Mick Foley, guys. Stupid idiots.
Hey, we'll get on to him later.
Yeah.
Triple H said bye to him.
No, he didn't.
Why didn't
he said, have a nice day.
That's close enough. Why didn't she punish him? Oh, she punished him later. I know.
Oh, Oh, snap.
I was watching
Videos.
50 Shades of Grey on USA the other day.
Oh, God.
No, it wasn't. I would never watch that movie.
I've watched them both. It's okay. It's okay.
Well, Ryan Cloud, I assumed you'd be watching them.
What's that supposed to mean? Too personal. Moving on.
I used to see what you would watch in your room. I know.
I don't know
Rock
what you're
band
talking
videos.
about.
Lots of rock band videos.
And sometimes without me even in the damn room.
Yep, they just be playing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, anyways. The Mick Foley firing leads us, kind of led us into this Sami Zayn versus Samoa Joe match.
Yeah.
And is it just me, or at this point does Sami Zayn just kind of feel like the ultimate team player? He's like, I'm just gonna put Samoa Joe over at any cost, because that match basically felt like more building Samoa Joe. I mean, they're just building him into this monster.
Yeah, and this is going to lead to, I'm pretty sure this is going to lead to the Finn Balor, Sami Zayn, Chris Jericho combo versus a Hunter and Joe and Owens combo. Or should I say Helmsley? Triple H. You know who I'm talking about. The Game.
That guy.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure this is going to wind up being, this is like another nail in that coffin that's going to confirm this as a thing very soon. And I read that they were keeping Finn off of TV because they're not sure how people are going to react to a Finn, Jericho, Zayn team, because they're all three of them are kind of different, very different players. But I don't have a problem with that. Like, I feel like that would be a very good team.
It'd definitely be a very interesting team. I know that.
Oh yeah. I mean, I know how you hate them all, but it's okay. You just want Samoa Joe to eat them.
I do. I am a pretty big Samoa Joe fan at this point. I mean, I don't hate, Finn Balor.
I don't hate, okay? I don't hate. I just dislike mildly.
Yes. Oh,
yeah. WWE said they don't know how they're going to react, but I'm sure they're going to get some amazing pop. I mean, Finn Balor, even though he's been off the air for a while because of his shoulder, I think his shoulder, because of that, it doesn't really mean much. I mean, he's still probably one of the higher merch selling people out there, and there's so many people that are missing a Finn Balor. They want to see the baby demon come up and destroy Roman Reigns and then beat the Undertaker. That's how they want this to go. That's how the match is going to end. I know I already said that Jeff Hardy's going to end the match, but it's going to be Sami Zayn. I mean, not Sami Zayn. It's going to be the conglomeration of Sami Zayn, Jericho, and Finn Balor, and Jeff Hardy. They're all just going to converge on the ring. It's going to be like a lumberjack match.
And then everybody be like, why is Jeff Hardy here?
I'm so confused. I don't know what's going on.
Mind blown.
It's going to be like an episode of Impact Wrestling.
Oh, gosh. But,
by Anthem.
By Anthem. You forgot that part. By Anthem.
Not TNA Wrestling.
But, I don't understand why you would hold off from... You would think the quicker you get him on screen is the faster that you can build him back up. I mean, the fans aren't going to they haven't forgot about Finn Balor or anything. So I don't understand that point. But
yeah, it feels like they're afraid they're going to revolt if Finn Balor comes back.
This isn't going to be a Roman Reigns incident to where if Finn Balor comes back and he's back at the topper echelon of the card, they're going to go crazy, because I think everyone believes that Finn Balor has earned his due. So pushing him to his top storyline where he would be part of a faction that fights the, Triple H, Joe, KO faction, whatever it may be called. Evolution 2.0. with Samoa Joe playing the Batista role, even though he's old.
Yeah.
Joe
Tista.
Joe
That's what you're gonna call him.
Joe Tista. And so yeah, they just need to put him back on TV by now, and we can get this.
Exactly.
We can get this storyline on the road. So, because we all know it's we know for sure the heel faction's happening. Now
it's pretty late to get something on the road to WrestleMania. So.
Truth. But I don't know. At the same time,
see what I did there?
But do you want to start a story? I guess it'd be all right to start a storyline at WrestleMania. That wouldn't be bad at all. So yeah.
I mean, what is it? The Patriots do it every year at the Super Bowl. They're like, we're just gonna go ahead and start our team for next year and just still be dominant.
We're not talking about the Patriots. Forget the Patriots.
See?
I hate the Patriots. Forget
Mr.
Tom
Kraft.
Brady.
Mr. Kraft, you hear me? Mr. Kraft right here. Hit me up with some tickets next year. Hopefully not. Hopefully they're not the team that goes. Yeah. You didn't hear me say that, Mr. Kraft. Mr. Kraft doesn't want. You get what I'm saying. Anyway.
But
it's enough of me shilling for free tickets.
Yeah, But mentioning one of the members of that new face faction that you're talking about.
The Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla?
Yes, the Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla, Chris Jericho. Cheer me on, man.
Rock Band.
But
why aren't there any Fozzy songs on Rock Band? That'd be awesome.
If there's no Seven Dust songs on Rock Band, there's not going to be a Fozzy. Back off.
I know.
But yeah, I mean,
Fozzy before Seven Dust. Hashtag it, people.
Well, I mean, they had Selena Gomez before Seven Dust, so it wouldn't surprise me at all.
I mean, Selena, she's my queen. Queen Gomez.
I hate you. So yeah, the Chris Jericho segment. You know, it's Chris Jericho, so you kind of knew at this point it was going to be awesome. And
oh yeah,
he brought out all kinds of dirt on Kevin Owens, even a picture of him sporting a Y2J shirt.
I'm pretty sure that was a picture of me.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it looked like me. Little bit of pimples, kind of some long hair, like rock and roll basement. And scantily clad woman on my door. Yep, and Jericho on the wall. Jericho shirt. That was me. I'm pretty sure he found a picture of me instead.
No,
that's what happened.
I mean that looked just like Kevin Owens. I mean, it didn't look like you. According to my fiance, you look more like an Ed Sheeran, but that's neither here nor there.
I don't have red hair.
Doesn't matter.
Okay then. That's enough of Ryan Cloud putting me over.
But
I'm up here calling him Cleveland. He's calling me Ed Sheeran. Okay. Sounds like you're Chris Jericho.
But yeah, what'd you think about this segment? I mean, obviously there wasn't much in it, but we did get a continued build on to WrestleMania.
Yeah. I actually really liked it. It puts up enough hype for this, and I really love the stupid idiot chant that came afterward when Owens came out. But yeah, this is definitely, you see a bond forming between Zayn and Jericho here, and that's going to be how that part of this team that we were just talking about comes together. I'm pretty sure. But dude, it was refreshing to see the real Kevin Owens.
Yeah, Chris Jericho posing off. And then we see Kevin Owens come out we see Samoa Joe come out, and then we have Kevin Owens jump Jericho from behind.
Yeah, just like I was going to say Super Bowl. Just like Fastlane. Just like Fastlane.
And, he rips up the list of Jericho. Just rude. And he even does
eats it.
And what?
He eats it.
I didn't see that part.
He ripped it up and stuck it in his mouth. And he threw it in the air. He ate the Jericho. He ate the list of Jericho.
Well, okay.
Like Goldberg from the 90s. Because I remember Goldberg doing that. Goldberg would eat paper.
Well, that must have been something edited out on Hulu because I did not see that part. Yeah, but you could just kind of see the connection with Chris Jericho and Sami Zayn at this point. With it seems like whenever the one or the other is in the ring, they're going to get jumped by Samoa Joe or Kevin Owens. So yeah, I kind of like where this is going. I could definitely see for sure Sami Zayn and Chris Jericho doing pretty well as a tag team. Hold on. Lost my train of thought.
But yeah, they would be really good as a drag team. They're racing now, or they're on what is that called? RuPaul's Drag Race. We'll get onto that later.
Okay.
Sorry, I was thinking about Smackdown.
Oh gosh, yeah. Anyway,
but yeah, speaking of tag teams, so yeah, they'd be really good. I'm pretty sure they would be really good. We'll call it the Canada Connection.
Canada Connection.
Except Finn Balor's got to be in it too, so the Crown Connection because. No, I don't know.
I don't know. It just seems.
I don't know if he's in Northern. I don't think he's from Northern Ireland, so I don't think that would work. That might piss him off. The Bullet Club. That's a good name for it.
Yeah. Sure. The Bullet Club.
I don't think anybody's got that name already.
No.
This would be great.
No, it's perfect. Fits perfect.
Maybe that's how they make Balor Club.
Maybe. They need to hurry up and do that because, yeah, they just need to.
The merch has been out since before freaking Balor was even brought up to the main roster.
I know. Before there was any other members of the Bullet Club on WWE programming.
Yeah, and that's how they started getting like, oh my gosh, AJ Styles, oh my gosh, Kenny Omega, oh my gosh, Gallows and Anderson, oh my gosh, all these people. And then it's slowly happening. And then they're going to buy Ring of Honor and just own the whole thing. And they're going to call it it's going to be called the Balor Club from that point forward. No more Bullet Club.
Just Balor Club because no copyright infringements.
Well, I mean, if they buy it, then they'll have to close it. They'll have to end it.
True.
And then say, we invented this. Balor Club.
It's always been Balor Club. What are you talking about? There was never a Bullet Club.
BC, it just means Balor Club.
Yeah.
The Japanese people just don't know how to pronounce Balor.
That's what it is. They think don't know how you make the connection, but we'll work with it. Bullet, Balor, it's a
Magic the Gathering trading card game, not a sponsor. But anyway, yeah, Chris Jericho, he is the greatest of all time according to what he said, and I'm not going to disagree. But yeah. And then we went to something that
is not the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman, which kind of starting to feel a little bit repetitive. It feels like these guys have been feuding toward nothing for a while now. And they just kind of randomly throw Braun Strowman in there as, fodder at this point because when he was beating Roman, it was cool. Roman's beat him now, we get it. And now I just really don't. This feud is going nowhere quick because they basically cut it off at the legs to make Roman Reigns feud with Taker. But, the match itself, Yeah. But, go ahead.
The fact that they had Undertaker eat a spear in this, that bothered me.
It bothered me really bad.
Like they're making Roman Reigns the Superman that's ever been a Superman. Like he's more Superman than John Cena now. I mean, that whole thing. This is all I wrote down was spear to Undertaker. Then I drew a sad face. And I didn't have any more words. It's just like sad face. I don't know what to do here. I don't want to see this match.
I wouldn't have had when I first realized that they were going to do this at WrestleMania, I didn't have a big problem with it, because kind of like I said before, who else outside of maybe Finn Balor would you have Undertaker fight at WrestleMania? But
Bray.
kind of, you say Bray?
Yeah.
Well, they already fought at WrestleMania once.
I know, but I'd have them do it again.
But
I mean, it'd be better than Roman Reigns.
But I mean, at this point, the way that the direction they're going is kind of pissing me off. I mean, it would be more interesting to me and more fitting if Roman Reigns was kind of like the prototypical person that fights Taker. I mean, that's what Taker does. He gets into your head, etc. And almost with the way that all of this ended on Raw, it kind of made it seem like Taker was off his game a little bit with the whole getting distracted to chokeslam Braun and then realizing it right before he gets speared.
Yeah. It feels like it feels like they're booking him as an old man. He's an old man, but they're booking him as an old man who's out of touch.
Basically. And
he's just pretending at what he used to be.
Yeah. And I don't like that. Like, I don't believe the only way that I'd be okay with all of this, if it's going in that direction, is if they turn Roman Reigns heel. That's the only way that I like this direction. And there's basically no way that you can have Roman Reigns beat Taker at WrestleMania and him not turn heel. I can tell you that much. Because the fans are not going to welcome him with open arms if he beats Taker at WrestleMania. It's not like when Brock beat Taker at WrestleMania. Everyone was shocked.
Yeah.
Oh my God, can't believe this happened. But it wasn't out of the realm of possibility because he's Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, he eats mountains.
Yes, basically.
He's like, oh, and the mountain's gone.
He punches countries and they
He ate the state
exist.
of Minnesota once. That's what happened.
And he apparently stepped on some type of hockey symbol and the team did really bad afterwards. But
yeah,
anyway.
He's magic. He's like, if he had a beard, his beard would have a fist under that beard. Like that's like 3 beards with fists under them. That's crazy.
That's a lot
if
of
he
beards.
had them. He's basically Chuck Norris. If Chuck Norris were a monster.
Exactly. But yeah, that's completely different from what will happen if Roman Reigns beats Taker. Like, there's no going back from that. I mean, he will be booed out of every arena for the next forever. I mean, by having him, if he beats Taker, by having him do that, you have basically said he's got to turn heel. There's no way around it. And my biggest fear is that they're going to do the WWE thing and have him beat Taker and continue to try to push him as a face, and it's just not going to work.
Yep. It's not. I don't know. This depresses me. Let's move on.
All right. Well, speaking of transitions, Nia Jax, she's a monster.
That depresses me as well, but I called it, so there's not much
call
more
it.
to talk about that match. It's just, it was a match, and then there's a fatal.
And Jax, basically ragdolled Bayley, and yeah, you called it. Fatal 4-way, WrestleMania.
Yep. But let's. I guess we should wrap up Raw. With like a couple random things that were just kind of happened. So did Brian Kendrick have Akira Tozawa deported?
I don't know.
What it sounded like. I don't know if that was in the Hulu version, but he's like, I've got Akira Tozawa's passport, and he can't fight me if he's in Japan. It feels like they're trying to copy the TNA storyline with Moose and Cody Rhodes.
Maybe. I cannot remember that segment at all. So they might have cut that from the Hulu version.
Okay. Because, he said he can't fight me if he's in Japan, but he can't get back in the country if he doesn't have this. And he's, holding up Akira Tozawa's freaking passport. It feels like he had him deported. I was afraid they were going to start chanting, "Build the wall! Build the wall!" Wall between Japan and America.
Oh, man. I wish I would have saw that segment because I did not see that. That would have been hilarious.
It was so weird. And then, like, the other things that caught my eye this week, I mean, I guess this isn't really amazing or anything, but the certified G's and the bona fide studs, Colin Cassidy and Enzo Amore, they are ridiculously over in New York, and they lost, but they were still ridiculously over in New York. I mean, they're from New York. That makes sense. They called Brooklyn Brokenland. I think Triple H called it Brokenland, which was really bad pun. But they called out, it seemed like they were calling out Bullet Club in general when Amore and Cassidy were doing their thing they do, because they said they're going to call out the Elite. And the Elite is not just General Bullet Club. It is the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. And they kept calling stuff Elite in their thing when they were talking about the club, which was, I don't know, something seemed weird about that to me. And I don't know, I guess that brings us back to the thing at the very beginning where we're talking about Ring of Honor possibly being purchased, but that stood out to me for some reason. Now I'm not sure if there's anything here, probably not, but I mean, it was something that I felt needed to be pointed out.
Yeah, I did not notice that at all while I was watching it, but that is it's a nice little bit there. It all ties into the whole ROH situation. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't think that I would necessarily want Enzo and Cass to fight the Bullet Club. That kind of seems like a clash.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be the first team that I wouldn't want the Bullet Club to fight if Adam Cole and the Young Bucks did come over in that little buyout or whatnot, but
Yeah, I don't know. It's a possibility. We don't know where we're going with that, but I know where we should have gone. Instead of me talking about that, we should have gone to SmackDown Women's Division. Because you said you wanted transitions.
Yeah. SmackDown's Women's Division, while we have, Raw, we kind of know where we're going there, but SmackDown, I have no idea what they're doing here.
It was just like a schmoz. For craziness.
It's essentially just this big, I don't even know what to call it, this big conglomeration, smorgasbord of just terrible at this point. That division has no direction now. Becky Lynch seems lost. Mickey James is a face now, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I told you last week. She was sitting with the faces, so she's a face now, I guess.
The only person that seems like they have any kind of, legit area is, I guess, Carmella, because she's always kind of this deviant, persuasive type person that's using.
That's how I like them, deviant.
Yeah, I mean, she's the only one that's kind of locked in, but even she has zero direction as to. I don't know. It seems like them decide. Actually, you know what? It seems like Naomi getting hurt just kind of threw that division into this wild loop, and they have no idea where to go with it now.
It's the Wild West on there.
Basically.
Naomi was the sheriff, and now the sheriff's gone, and it's the Wild West. It's like Deadwood.
It's like...
We'll start seeing people fed to pigs.
That would be weird. Bray Wyatt, I don't know.
Bray Wyatt shows up and wins the women's division.
I can't even go. I was about to do a Bray Wyatt impersonation, but I can't. But yeah, I mean, Naomi goes out, and then they decide, hey, we're going to have you, Alexa Bliss, defend your title against everybody on the women's roster.
One against all.
Huh?
One against all.
Exactly. And
Roman Reigns.
Damn it. But yeah, and by them doing that, it has basically thrown the division into disarray because we have no storylines. We have a mosh of storylines, just kind of like subsets of storylines, and they're trying to bring it all together, and it's not working.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Hopefully, after WrestleMania and all this clears out, we'll have a clear direction for the women's division because, for all intents and purposes, it has remained a prime focus for SmackDown. So hopefully we'll have a little bit more clearance. Maybe we'll have an Asian monster superstar make her way over to SmackDown and kind of clear things up a little bit.
Yep, that's probably what's going to happen. The Empress of Tomorrow is going to be the Empress of SmackDown pretty soon.
Hopefully.
Or you know who's probably going to win the title?
Who's that?
Tyler/Nikki Breeze.
I hate everybody.
That's who's going to win the title now. That's what he's going to be like. I'm a lady now. Yeah, see, just like Santina Marella.
Oh God, poor. You know what? I oftentimes talk about how Sami Zayn has been misused, or they're doing better now, but way back how I felt like he wasn't being used. I feel like Tyler Breeze has just been screwed over in every possible way at this point.
Yeah. I mean, there was that rumor going around a while ago that it's in his contract that he's like the whipping boy of WWE. So I mean, that's basically what this showed. That's true.
Pretty much. I mean, just to have Nikki Bella just manhandle Tyler Breeze, any credibility that he ever had is gone.
And talking smack, she's like, I didn't realize his fake boobs were gonna fall out. It's like, what? How did you not realize that, Nikki? Come on. But anyway, that this whole, I like that. Like, I didn't like this, but I liked it at the same time.
It was one of those beautiful car crashes. It's like, it's not really a good thing, but I can't turn away.
Yeah. So I'm actually really excited for the feud that's going on now between The Miz and John Cena, and then Maurice and Nikki, and now Tyler Breeze. I'm actually pretty excited for this thing now, and I really wasn't, and now I am. But those little vignettes that they did, those were great.
Oh man. The Miz and Maurice are, well, The Miz definitely. He's just, I don't know. I enjoyed the segment as well.
You just broke John Cena's house rules number 7, Ryan Cloud.
My bad.
You can't enjoy the segment. It's against the rules.
It's against the rules. Can't enjoy the segment.
John Cena says so.
But I'm like, at this point, I actually kind of hope that The Miz and Maurice beat. It's not gonna happen, but beat John Cena and Nikki Bella, because like the Miz and Maurice, even though what they're doing is supposed to be heel work, it feels real. Like, it feels like this is how they are, and I like it. John Cena and Nikki Bella, to me, just kind of seem like that, you know, everyone had it at their high school. That couple in high school that, like, throws their lovey-dovey shit in your face, and it's annoying.
Yeah, I feel you.
Like,
I understand.
That's just me.
Like they're Johnny and Nikki in the back making out in the back in the back of the classroom, and then they kind of strut up to the thing, and then they start making out in the front of the classroom. So that's what happens.
Yeah, something like that. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying.
I feel you. That's probably Ryan Cloud. I know how you be.
Hey, I can't say how I was in high school, man. That was 10 years ago.
I slept since then. And
I've slept a few years since then. Maybe not not constantly, but you get what I'm saying?
You know that movie about the guy who's like sleeps for 1,000 years? That's me. That was me. It was about me.
Yeah. Passengers. What? Probably not.
Okay. Ryan Cloud, you notice Mauro Ranallo was not on commentary again this week?
I did. He was absent yet again.
Yep. So Pro Wrestling, I think it's Pro Wrestling Illustrated, reported that he is bipolar and is having a manic episode. So his bipolar mania may keep him from going to WrestleMania.
That's foul.
Hey, it happens. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be funny. It's just true. Except I was trying to be funny too. That's where all your funny jokes are, and they're in truth. Anyway, back to SmackDown. Anyway, speaking of passengers on the road to WrestleMania, we got some interesting passengers now. We got Usos and American Alpha, and the belts have finally switched places.
And I'm not upset one bit about it. I don't have a problem with the Usos winning the titles because at this point, American Alpha has been kind of dry. The entire SmackDown tag team division has been dry. And in my opinion, if you have a dry tag team if you have a dry tag team division, then it's better if you have heel champions because at least you have something to build toward. You have that who's going to overcome the heel champions type of storyline. Whereas if you have a face group holding the titles, then it's kind of like you just kind of have people chasing it. And and on SmackDown, let's be real. On SmackDown, there was no one else that deserved. There's only two teams that deserves to win the titles or hold the titles. That's American Alpha and
Breezango.
No. And maybe no, I'm not even gonna say that. That's American Alpha and the Usos, and I guess it's the Usos' turn to hold the titles, and I don't have a problem with it.
Well, this just in: Ryan Cloud likes it wet. That's what I earned from that. Speaking of high school, you said I don't like it dry, so that means you must like it wet.
That's
or moist for all you people that like the word moist.
Oh, that word makes me cringe.
Speaking of wet and moist things, basically they said this belt is the hall pass to WrestleMania. Speaking of high school. So yeah, the belt is a hall pass to WrestleMania, and it should give them, this is what the Usos said in Talking Smack, is it should give them the ability to call out any other team out there. And they want to set up an interbrand match, and they're trying to get the hashtag trending, hashtag Usos WrestleMania, and you say who you want the Usos to fight. And it seems like they're angling to get a fight against Anderson and Gallows, which that would be actually really good. I'm pretty sure that'd be a really good match. But yeah, I could see that going pretty well. Daniel Bryan said he doesn't have the authority to make matches when they asked him that. And I don't know if he means authority to make interbrand matches, which, I mean, that would make sense, I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess they'd have to talk to, I was going to say Mick Foley, but not Mick Foley anymore. I don't know who they're going to have to talk to.
Stephanie?
I guess just Stephanie, but I guess she's the only one that really had made any matches. But anyway, so they'll wind up, there aren't any interbrand matches on the WrestleMania, which is interesting to me because it's like the biggest interbrand pay-per-view. So if we get an interbrand match out of this title change with them against Gallows and Anderson, then I would not complain.
Yeah, it would be nice to see. I mean, really, well, actually, is it the club? Don't they have a match already at WrestleMania book?
They do.
Okay.
They do. Well, kind of.
Kind of.
Because it's Cesaro that was what that match was between.
Right.
That's what that was supposed to determine. So I mean, it feels like they're trying to get away from them actually getting a chance to do that match the way that they've been booking them. So, and this could be the reason why. This could be the reason why I'm getting that feeling. Or this could be a way of having them call up because it's like they want an interbrand match. Maybe they want a match against the Revival or DIY.
Hopefully,
which I wouldn't.
Either one of those two.
Yeah, I wouldn't complain about either of those either.
Yeah. Hopefully they bring up some new talent from NXT as far as tag teams go, either DIY or the Revival. Probably the Revival more so than DIY, but I would prefer either because God knows the Smackdown tag team division needs some life.
Yes, very true, very true. But you know what had a whole bunch of life?
Shane McMahon flying through the air.
Yeah, with the greatest of ease. He's like the bloody Red Baron.
He's what? He's at least 50. I know that much.
I think he might be like 47, 48.
He's getting close. He's getting up there.
He's almost 50.
And that man can still launch his body ridiculous distances.
Yes. What was it? Daniel Bryan in Talking Smack said, "I'm pretty sure that Shane McMahon can jump farther than I can, and I was known for jumping really far."
I mean, it's just crazy. That whole segment, you know, a week ago I was talking about how I didn't like the way that this was going. But this whole segment kind of got me a little bit more interested in the idea of AJ Styles, Shane McMahon, WrestleMania. And I contributed all to AJ's ability to sell.
True. See, I still don't want to see this match. I still have no real interest in this match. It still feels like it's booked backward.
Yeah, truth.
But at the same time, it's going to be a good match because AJ is probably one of the best workers in the world. And Shane, even though he's not a wrestler and all this stuff, he still is pretty good at what he does. So,
oh yeah,
I mean, it's going to be a good match, just like Shane versus Kurt Angle was a good match, or just like Shane versus Undertaker. Even though people are like, "Oh, it was a bad match," no, it wasn't. It wasn't a bad match. What are you talking about? But it was good too. I mean, every time Shane is in a match, he's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. I guess the criticism comes from everyone believing that because Shane isn't an official wrestler or, you know, whatever, that they've already got this preconceived notion that anything he's going to be in is going to be bad, or anything that any non-wrestler is going to be in is going to be bad. And Shane has held his own throughout the years, and like you said, AJ is an excellent worker. AJ can carry whatever Shane's deficiencies are. AJ can carry it, and he can make this match look as good as he wants to.
I mean, look at the Roman Reigns fight. I mean, Roman Reigns can't wrestle his way out of a paper bag unless he's with somebody who's actually really good. It's like he wrestles to the skill level of the person he's wrestling.
Right.
And when he wrestles AJ Styles, a couple months ago, he was really, really good.
Some of his best work.
Yeah, but so I mean, AJ has the ability to get anybody over. I mean that's probably the reason why he was the head of the Bullet Club. Every person who's been the head of the Bullet Club has had that ability. You have Finn Balor, you have Adam Cole, you have Kenny Omega. All of them, and AJ Styles, of course, because that's who we're talking about. All of them have the ability to get people over. They've got such high work rate that they can get anybody over and make anybody look like a star when they're wrestling them.
Yeah, and that's just a gift. That's a gift for whoever has said wrestler in their organization, because there's always going to be someone that needs to be put over. And if they have the ability to do it without losing themselves in it, that is. Like AJ Styles, he can put people over, and you still feel like AJ Styles is one of the greatest. and in my opinion, anyways. And
Yeah.
I think he'll do that at WrestleMania, and I think the match has the like we said, the match has the potential to be good. Storyline wise, did they book it backwards? Absolutely. That's been my biggest gripe with all of this since it was announced as just a rumor.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll see. I don't have as big of an issue with it as far as just a match in general. I would actually probably even like it if the match was booked properly, but I've my hatred for this match has loosened up a little bit.
Okay. I see. I understand. You know who else got booked really high, really heavily? Really looked really good. And this kind of is a throwback from Raw. I didn't talk about it, but Dana Brooke actually looked really strong, which is weird. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Props to Dana. What?
Yeah. But she was booked really strong, but it's probably because Charlotte has this same kind of ability that I was talking about AJ has too. But she looked really strong, even though she lost. Anyway, how did you feel about the thing that went on with Harper and Orton? And then Wyatt.
You know, for me, this storyline has just kind of transitioned into a thing. We kind of, as you like to say, it's a thing.
Yep, it is.
It's a thing. We didn't really get a conclusion to the whole Orton-Harper thing, so it's a thing. The more interesting point for me was the whole Orton essentially getting kidnapped by Bray Wyatt and his flock of sheep.
Yep, I was going to say, we haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah.
That's how they're going to get Bo out there.
Bo was one of the sheep.
He's one of the sheep. He's just like, take the mask off, boom, it's Bo!
For some reason, I don't think that's going to get a massive pop when that does happen.
I think if anything, that's the only thing that's going to get Bo a pop now.
You'll give him a little something.
Yeah. But I wouldn't mind that. Like I'm saying, I wouldn't mind that. Yeah. It's kind of just there, but it was, I'm not any more interested in the match, but I'm not any less interested in the match currently. The only thing that really interested me was that the sheep were there finally. Haven't seen the sheep in a long time. So I wanted to bring that up. And why was Ambrose was on a forklift?
It's just this forklift, man.
Yep. That's their new they're gonna be fighting for the forklift champion of the world instead of the Intercontinental. And he still has not defended that title. When he went to the hospital, they should have stripped him of the title then.
You can't have these anymore.
Yeah, he hasn't followed the rules, so he shouldn't be able to have the title. And it should go to an open tournament. That's what they should do. But it's that we know that's not going to happen because they're going to fight for it at WrestleMania, and they've just not been. It just bugs me that they've got rules that they have in place, and then they don't follow them, and they just. I have a problem when people aren't treated equally. So they strip Naomi of the title, but they don't strip Ambrose of the title, Jon Moxley of the title. Because I keep on calling him Moxley because I was saying his name. I said his original name at the top. But yeah, so that's how it is. We're kind of in a weird lull. We're probably going to be in this weird lull for the next week until WrestleMania happens. Yeah. 10 days.
10 days.
Yep. 10. Ty Dillinger. We need Ty Dillinger just like screaming teen 10 while we're sitting here. Just edit that in completely through the thing. Him just saying 10 days the whole time. Speaking of Ty Dillinger, anything happen on NXT?
NXT. I can't think of anything that necessarily stands out except for the Oni Larkin Sienna Almas match. I highly enjoyed that match, actually.
Okay. I didn't dislike it. I didn't like it. It was just kind of, it was there.
It was there. I kind of liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why you liked it. It was an okay match. I didn't like it or dislike it, but it was an okay match. Oh yeah, hashtag Sweet Beats. You got to get that up there. That's Daniel Bryan's hip hop name. He's gonna be Sweet Beats along with the Usos. I meant to say that earlier. Yeah, it was the Usos are trying to get a couple of hashtags going on. Hashtag Sweet Beats and hashtag Usos WrestleMania. Yeah, I mean that kind of sums up how I feel about NXT this week. I went back to SmackDown. DIY's promo looked like it was part of a Ring of Honor promo, because the way they do their promos is in front of like a big thing that's like looks like a bus that says Ring of Honor on the side, like it's part of their logo but a little tiny. DIY's promo looked like it was done at a Ring of Honor show, except with an NXT logo behind it. I don't know. I know that it's NXT tries to film like they film like Ring of Honor films, so I have a feeling they were like, we'll just do what they do. We need to get a promo out real quick. I have a feeling that's what just happened. It was interesting that they allowed them to. They said Chris Hero. I'm pretty sure they said Chris Hero on the show instead of Cassius Ohno. So I don't know if that was on intentional or if that was like a gaffe. Like the other day, what's his face? Guy that used to be on guy that used to be the announcer on NXT.
Corey Graves.
Corey Graves, yeah. Corey Graves had said, what did he say? He said Antonio Cesaro's like he called him Castagnoli the other day, so which is like his name he used to have. So I don't know if they're trying to drop hints that these people had other names and they made them change the names when they came to WWE, or if they are making these mistakes too often. But it seems like they're making them so often that they can't be mistakes.
Yeah, I don't know. I could believe it was a gaffe, but
I could believe it was a little bit of both.
I could believe it was a little bit of both. It seems like there's like you said, it's becoming more and more. It's happening more and more often now.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if it was a little bit of both. Like they might accidentally do it, and they're like, we go ahead and do it again.
Yeah, it's possible that when Graves called him Castagnoli, then that got like a little pop on the internet. So they're like, let's see if this happens again by calling Cassius Ohno
Chris
Hero. And I mean, so I could see that basically being the way that happened. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't really much of anything on NXT this week. We didn't get to see anybody almost have a neck broken or anything like 2 weeks ago, or was it a week ago? Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Hashtag ban the Eclipse. Hashtag ban the Eclipse.
Not gonna happen, bro. I'm telling you.
Asuka said something about Asuka gave a promo in Japanese, which was awesome.
Yes, that I forgot about that. That was legit.
Yeah, and she said something about their no eclipse, but I don't think that means ban the eclipse. I think that means she's gonna rise above the eclipse.
Pretty much.
She is the Empress of Tomorrow. And that sounds like something from Disneyland. But yeah, that was NXT. There wasn't much of NXT on NXT. We're gonna see Cassius Ohno feud pretty soon on there. But yeah. 205 Live. I didn't do anything with that.
No.
I guess that brings us to the other storylines.
The other storylines.
So we had, I was going to say TNA. I can't say TNA anymore.
No, you're going to get us sued, man.
Fuck that Al.
Fuck that Al.
I'm going to buy me that Rebby Sky shirt. Fuck that Al. By the way, if anybody, my storyline to watch this week is the storyline of Rebby Sky's Twitter. Go just, if you're not following Rebby Sky, or Rebby Hardy, as she is now, getting married, changing names, it's a thing.
It's a thing.
Western culture. Go follow Rebby Hardy on Twitter, and man, just she is savage. And they've got a shirt out, not on ProWrestlingTees.com, because I have a feeling that ProWrestlingTees.com didn't want this on their site because they're afraid they'd get sued. But on the Hardy Boyz website, on their personal website, they've got a shirt that says "Fuck that Al," Rebby Sky, and in the Impact font, so it looks like the Impact logo, but instead of saying Impact, it says "Fuck that Al," and then where it says wrestling on their logo, it says Rebby. I guess it says Rebby Hardy, but it's great. We'll leave a link in the description below. Check it out. But yeah, Impact was a little lackluster. But Moose, continuing along with the storyline that I'm pretty sure WWE is trying to copy, or was it WWE? Yeah.
Yeah.
That in the 205 weight class, we had Moose getting ready to go defend his title. It was a match for the title against Eli Drake with Tyrus, and as they're waiting to go out, we cut to backstage. Something's going on, and then we see Cody Rhodes get out of this limo with Brandy, and he runs to the ramp and just starts beating down Moose with a chair, because we know that Cody Rhodes now is like King Chair Champion of the world or something now.
He is with a chair as Triple H was with a sledgehammer.
Exactly. Which makes more sense in wrestling. Anyway, but he just destroyed Moose. Moose was down. But yeah, I mean, this is getting interesting, but going back to that high school thing again, it feels like high school.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely feels like that guy that just can't get over, or I guess that paranoid guy that believes that dude's after his girlfriend, and he's like, yo, I'm gonna whoop your ass, bruh. And
I mean,
just trying to be Moose.
I can understand. She's a very pretty lady.
Yeah, but I think it's more on the fact that Moose is like, yo, if you need someone to protect her, you can call on me. He's like kind of the Mr. Steal Your Girl persona.
Yeah.
Without actually really wanting to. He was just trying to help.
Mean, we don't know. We
Yeah,
might.
proof.
We don't know. He's from Florida.
Yes, and all bad things come from Florida. Anyways,
Go on Reddit and follow Florida Man Reddit. No. When you're not in the Reddit squared circle, go to Florida Man. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun to read. Speaking of the whole weird relationship where they're throwing their love in people's face, Angelina Love and Davey Richards, they said that was the weirdest relationship they've ever seen in wrestling. And it's not that weird. They're just weird themselves. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
They beat Suicide up and made out on top of Suicide's like prone body.
Poor Suicide. He just comes back, and now he's got Crazy Boy Richards, and
yeah,
and it's just it
happens.
happens.
Anyway,
Impact Wrestling.
yeah. The other weird thing was the Laurel Van Ness. This Laurel Van Ness like vignette that they had where McKinsey, their interview at Tron 5000, went to interview her, and the Laurel Van Ness promo seemed like it was Chris Jericho's promo from last week, where she kept calling her different names. Like Jericho called what's his face, Tom Phillips, the other day. A week ago. Yeah, that's what this felt like. It's really interesting though. They're still putting Maria over, even though she's left the company. They were like, Maria was the best thing that's ever happened to you. All this stuff, and I don't know. It's something weird about that. Something we missed in the what is that called? In the like dirt sheet section, was Maria has possibly been given a contract by WWE and could possibly be going to NXT.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I forgot to say that. It came out on Monday or Tuesday, which is really interesting. I never would have spotted that at all. But yeah. So, I mean, then we had the match for, what is that called? The X Division. We had the Idris Abraham. We had it was a 3-man tag. And we had people from Monster Factory showing up, which is really interesting. It's like they're trying to reach out to all of the other promotions that are not Ring of Honor or WWE now. And, so I'm not sure what's going on with that, but it's really interesting that they're doing stuff like that, especially with what's going on in their whole thing. I mean, we haven't heard anything about them getting involved with Evolve. I mean, we know they were at one point because we did see an EC3 versus, who did he fight? He fought a few WWE people at Evolve a few times, but they had people from CMLL, they had people from Crash, and they had people from Monster Factory. The only fear I have is how quickly is the TNA or the Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship going to switch over to become the Global Force Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship?
At this rate, probably really fast considering what we're starting to see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It feels like they're slowly turning Impact into Global Force, which, I mean, for those of you who don't know, Global Force Wrestling is the company that Jeff Jarrett started after he was ousted from TNA. And, I mean, it's not a bad promotion. It's just... It
has talent.
Yeah, it's got some good talent. It's just... It's Jeff Jarrett's booking. And Jeff Jarrett, as good as he is in the ring and all that stuff, is about as bad as he is at booking. I mean, he's booked some good stuff. Everybody has. I mean, except me. I've never booked anything bad. I'm like champion of the world. But he's booked some good stuff. But as good as he was in the ring is as bad as he is at booking generally. And I hate to say that because he's good. He's great. But yeah. So I guess that brings us to his wife. Is that his wife? I think it's his wife.
Yeah, it's his wife.
Yeah. Karen Jarrett. Ron Cloud, how do you feel about Karen Jarrett?
I feel that I don't like Karen Jarrett. That's how I feel about it. She just, I guess, I'm assuming they're trying to put her over as a face. I
mean, with what she was saying, it feels like that, but at the same time, everything, the way she moves and talks, does not feel like that.
No, it does not. And it's kind of like that reverse booking that we've got with AJ Styles and Shane McMahon. It kind of feels that same way with with the whole Karen Jarrett, and we had EC3. I found myself more in EC3's corner at this point than I did with Karen Jarrett.
See, I'm in the corner of Josh Matthews. They said they were going to fire Josh Matthews.
And Josh too.
I was like, Josh Matthews? I want Josh Matthews. I don't like him, but I sent out hashtag keep Josh Matthews, and then Ethan said, I'm not fighting for your name, I'm fighting for my last name. Does that mean they're going to bring back Dixie?
That's the vibe that I got. Unless it's just kind of one of those one-off top lines where he's more or less talking about fighting for himself than.
Yeah, but I mean they're not related, but
right.
They have the same last name, so the way he said it made it sound like Dixie's going to come back and have like a faction that she runs or something.
Which I wouldn't feel horrible about, I guess.
I would not.
It'd be better than anything they got going on right now.
I mean, the biggest storyline they got going on is that they're suing the Hardys. So
yeah, I mean, outside of that, they've not really gotten anything anymore. It's crazy how fast that company did a 180 from a year ago. Like a year ago, we were talking about, or at least everybody was talking about how they've kind of rebounded a little bit, and some people even calling that rendition of Impact one of the better renditions.
Yeah, I know a year ago we weren't talking because we were in a feud, but it's okay.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, and now we fast forward to now, and it's basically back to good old-fashioned, terrible top Impact.
Good old bad Impact.
I mean, and it's a sinking ship.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the analogy I used. I guess it might have even been on our first podcast. I can't remember. Where when TNA and the whole deletion angle got started and the product was good, it was kind of like that scene in the Titanic after it snapped, and for a brief second when it was in the air, it came back together for a brief second, right before it broke back again.
Yeah.
We're at the second half of that. It has broken apart again, and now it's going to go down.
Yep, I know exactly where you're coming from. Oh no, my phone froze. I was trying to find something from Dixie Carter, see if there was anything on her Twitter about anything possibly, because I tweeted at her a couple times and she did not answer. She's answered me several times before in the past though, so that made me sad.
Aww.
Yeah. The only thing she's really tweeted recently is nothing like the blessings of being a mama and happy St. Patrick's Day. Congrats to Pop TV. And can't wait to see Quentin Rampage Jackson fight King Mo. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing really going on her Twitter about it. So I mean, I know she likes that kayfabeness, so I can understand why they'd be hiding it. But yeah, I mean, I would like to see. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I'd have more fuel for my fan fictions. Y'all didn't hear that. But
didn't hear nothing.
Speaking of fan fictions and Dixie Carter's Twitter's telling me I should look at Bobby Lashley's Twitter. So let me see if there's anything on Bobby Lashley's Twitter. Did you see the interview session they did with Bobby Lashley?
I watched it, but I think at that point I was a little bit distracted. So refresh us.
I mean, it was a pretty heartfelt pretty heartfelt interview about how he got in a tussle in a bank robbery and how he wasn't able to go to the 04 Olympics and how he's been doing this for a long time, and it's great. So I mean, if you want to hear a heartfelt interview, I would check that out. It's pretty good. I really want one of those America's Top Team jerseys that he always wears, that yellow and black jersey. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he tweeted at next week there is the match between Moose and Cody. And he tweeted at both of them, that title looks real nice. I want it. So I know he wants his title back. And that's pretty much the most of what's going on there is he just wants the title back. And, I mean, I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit.
Nope.
So, and then we had, what is that? We had Decay versus this new team, Reno Scum. And I've never seen anybody make Abyss look small and weak, because Abyss is a pretty large dude.
Yeah.
But the dude from Reno Scum made him look weak and small. So that was worth noting, I guess.
And I was about to say, and something else noteworthy while I was speaking of tag teams is the fact that it looks like DCC's done.
Yes, that's true. I wouldn't mind seeing them pick up Cowboy James. Like, they were calling him Cowboy James Storm, and the whole time that he's been in DCC, they haven't been putting on the cowboy part. And then today, because they said they were talking, there was like some dissension after last week in the ranks of DCC. And then they started calling him the Cowboy James Storm. And then at the end of the match, he says, "I'm the Cowboy!" And then he storms out. Does that mean James Storming? Oh my gosh.
That's what I'm about to say. No pun intended, or pun intended. What's up with that?
I don't know. It messed up my head. But him storming out, does that mean we see him going to NXT soon?
Maybe. I would like to see him come back to NXT, if anything else, to kind of play the Eric Young role. Or heck, I mean, even maybe advance up the ladder a little bit, but
yeah, I'd like to see him come in and winds up being him and maybe Cassius Ono, versus like Sanity. That would be great.
That would be great.
That would really elevate all three of those guys. I mean, all three of them were up on the top echelon anyway, but that would put them over so much in NXT. But at the same time, all three of them would be ready for main roster at WWE as well. So, I mean, but I see him going back to NXT pretty soon if the stuff that's going on, from what we understand, is going on in not TNA, Impact to Anthem. From what we hear is going on, I have a feeling that he will probably be leaving soon. Talking about Reno Scum, did you notice that there was some violence on women in that match? Reno Scum threw Rosemary out the ring.
And the assault on women continues to grow in the wrestling community.
Well, I mean, everybody's equal. Should be okay.
Should be alright. They'd be good.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay in Lucha and Lucha Underground. It's okay in CMLL and AAA and all of those other things. It's just not okay in WWE. So it's kind of weird. It's weird when we see it, and it used to not be okay in TNA as far as I'm aware. But I guess now it's okay.
Yeah. New Age.
Yeah, New Age Outlaws.
It's Impact now. That's
Oh no! We're gonna get fired, sued, and eaten.
I don't want to be eaten.
Oh well. Speaking of the women's in TNA or Impact, sorry, it's gonna be hard to do. Rebel came back, which was awesome. I miss Rebel, and ODB was back,
and they continued. Yeah, I mean, it's the latest in some former some former wrestlers coming back. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what's up.
Yeah. Hey, Rebel's good. I like Rebel, and ODB's good too. She's always good. She nasty, and you know what was nasty was Earl Hebner, Hall of Fame referee, pulled a Ric Flair and stole a kiss from Rebel, and then in response, ODB stole a kiss from him, and it was funny. It's like it's like we're back in the 90s. It's like they're trying to book TNA like it's Attitude Era WWE. I mean, Jeff Jarrett.
That's what I was
and
about to say.
it's weird. Like, it made sense when that happened at the Becky Lynch Charlotte Flair fight. That made sense. This just like, let's throw something from the 90s in.
Oh man.
But yeah.
It's kind of what you get with the Jarrett. You're gonna get a little bit of that Attitude Era stuff. And well, whether or not it's gonna go over, that's a different question. But
yeah. I mean, yeah, it is what it is, and hopefully it will be better than it is currently. But you know what was really awesome?
What's that?
Cody Rhodes' jacket, his new Bullet Club jacket. That's awesome. I want that jacket, and I haven't seen it in the Pro Wrestling Tees store anywhere. But once I do see it,
Go buy.
I'm gonna get it.
Money.
Yeah. Except I spent $500 on a new radiator yesterday. Yeah. I need this money. I need this thing to get me some money so I can stop hemorrhaging. Anyway. I guess I could bring us to ROH. There wasn't much going on ROH. I liked the way the Top Prospect match ended with a referee stopping the match from somebody getting knocked out. That was pretty cool. That's not something you see very often. So I enjoyed that. And I guess Shea Taylor's going to be joining the Rebellion to beat up Leo Rush. I mean, that's interesting. I guess I don't really care very much about the Rebellion. And I know somebody's going to say, you don't like the Rebellion because they're black. No.
I'm black. You like
I know.
me, I think.
I mean, unless you join the Rebellion.
Unless I join the Rebellion.
Then we'll have odds. We'll be at odds, sir. Because I like Leo Rush. He's black, too.
None of this makes sense.
I know. That's how the political discourse in our world works now. Anyway, and then there was a match between Jay Briscoe and Jay White, and I mean, it was a technically good match, and the Briscoes never put on a bad match, but this was kind of, Jay White is uninteresting. I don't care about Jay White, and it's not because he's white.
We know how it is.
Yeah, but it was a technically sound match. It just wasn't a very interesting match, which it's hard for me to say that about a match that has a Briscoe in it, but at the same time, you can only carry a match so far being interesting. And Jay White's technically good. If I were going to call somebody the Roman Reigns of Ring of Honor, not like for the way they're getting over, but just the way that they are in the ring. Technically good, technically sound, but kind of a charisma vacuum. But can wrestle to the level that somebody else is, that they're wrestling at. I'd probably put it as Jay White. And other than that, though, not really much went on TNA or Ring of Honor, not TNA. TNA doesn't exist anymore. Sorry.
There's no such thing.
Exactly. Now let me pull back up the thing. That is about Amazon. Glamazon. That's the naked lady. And there it is. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I need to find a way to watch Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, or if I could watch Noah or New Japan. That's what we need to find out. We need to find a way to do that. But either way, that's neither here nor there. Speaking of stuff that needs to be watched, Ryan Cloud, what should we be watching this coming week?
The thing that I'm going to pick to watch for this week, I'm going to steal a little bit from you, is the whole KO, Samoa Joe, Chris Jericho, Sami Zayn angle, because we kind of see something building there, and you kind of predicted that, Finn Balor will more than might get involved. I'm not so sure about that, but just seeing how this angle unfolds, because you got a really strong faction with Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens, and then you've also got, Sami Zayn and Chris Jericho, who have been kind of on the end of all this vitriol from the Triple H faction, and I just think it's something that we need to watch for.
I feel you. I like it. I mean, I think people should just be watching Rebby Sky's Twitter. But for in-ring action, I would probably say that same thing. I don't know when we're gonna see Senor Balor come into play, but what we're getting in the ring right now is actually really good and really interesting, and I think that's probably where we need to go with that. So speaking of really good, really interesting, who was really good and really interesting this week? This past week.
Yeah. I'm going to go with, and I'm just going to kind of fuse this together as the whole, because I'm not really going to have a match of the week, because I really didn't see anything overly impressive this week as far as in-ring action goes. So I'm going to go with what was good this past week and fuse it with a segment of the week. And I'm going to go with Triple H, just because I thought it was that segment with the whole fans thing. I thought it was interesting. I never really thought of it like that, as in the reason why some of these wrestlers get hurt and why, Seth Rollins is in the situation he's in is because of us fans. And I was like, as he was just talking, I was like, this is kind of true.
This is, true.
And just because the whole segment, I was also kind of put off like he was a little bit Donald Trump, like, ain't nothing my fault, it's all y'all's fault. So.
Well, that's true. It's my fault. It's all my personally. I mean, screw you.
Nobody else, but
Yeah, I'll take all the blame. And then Seth Rollins, I'll get in the ring with Seth Rollins and we'll discuss it.
Yeah. So what do you think you should watch for, or what was good this past week?
What was the best of this week? Definitely not Jay White. Let's see. What did I think was cool? I just like Sweet Beats. # Sweet Beats. Daniel Bryan's hip hop name. I liked the Jericho's highlight reel. I liked the highlight reel this week, and was probably the best. We should probably just start calling this the best segment, because it could be a match, it could be something else, because a couple times we've not picked a match. But best segment is probably the Jericho's highlight reel, and then best person that's been out there this week, probably Jericho as well when he did the highlight reel, because that was pretty cool. I liked that. That or Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn standing up for Mick Foley. That's probably the best. Either of those two is where I would go with this.
I agree. Those are two good choices there.
Good. I'm glad you agree.
Yeah, you got my permission to use those two.
That's all I've ever wanted, sir. But yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but yeah, what you got? Any other thing to say?
No, I think that pretty much touches, pretty much concludes it. Yeah, I think I'm good.
I can dig it. Well, I guess that means check us out on all of the things. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spacegram, all of those things. I'm sure I'm making up some things that you need to follow us on, but you can follow us on them anyway. Just like everybody follows the Hardys, follow the Shooting Star Press podcast. You can find our links in the description below, and hit up the Amazon links down there. Help us out. Help us pay some bills, because this takes time and money to run anything like this. So anything you want to help us with, it is always appreciated. Ryan Cloud, you got any closing words?
I need money, so yeah.
All right, Baron Corbin.
But yeah, I guess on that note, DJ, spin that shit.